right. Hello. Forgive me for the 20-minute delay. I had to make sure my puppy uses the bathroom. A lot of people have been inboxing me about George Floyd. I do not know George's birthday, but I feel like it's important for me to, I guess you can say, see if I can pick up on any energy for him, see if he has anything to say about the circumstances surrounding his death, his life, what he's probably going through. It's a situation to where I want to kind of focus on incorporating, I guess you could say, like his energy as well as the outlook of what we're dealing with in society. So I feel like it's important to kind of like discuss that and to talk about it, because I want it to be a thing, you know, where we're being a bit more reflective as a community or as a people, in order to do the right thing, but at the same time as well to protect ourselves. So yeah, that's how we're gonna start. For whatever reason, like I said, I don't know his birthday. So what I want to do is, in my mind, I kept seeing him as like the King of Cups. So I don't know if he's a water sign, but it's just like the aspect of his sensitivity. So I feel like I want to use this King of Cups basically as George. Okay. And then I'm just going to go through this deck and see if I can find a card that's like reflective of him, excuse me. So I want to use this card right here, which is Man Holding a Heart, okay? A lot of people say that he's a really nice person, didn't bother nobody, kind-hearted. So I just want to use those two cards, just from the aspect of energy in itself. So let me get a couple of things going really quick, because I didn't have time to light my candles. I ain't had time to, you know, really get really started like that, because, you know, gotta take care of the doggy, gotta make sure she go outside, get comfortable, so that way we can do our thing. And that way everybody happy and we can kind of focus on this situation, because it's created a lot of controversy for a lot of different people. And just from my own personal viewpoint of things, I just want to say this. I feel like we're dealing with a situation pertaining to PTSD in this country. And I feel like, as much as I know that Black people don't care to seek mental health assessments, even though it should probably be something that's mandatory for police officers in general, when they're dealing with 12 cases of misconduct, and there's no recommended, result in what they're choosing to partake in or do or get away with. I think that it is our civilian right to hold certain things up to accountability for our own safety and our children and our communities, as well as protecting those who are the most vulnerable. Keep in mind that we are currently looking at a situation to where Minneapolis police have decided to, again, it's about making sure that there's no conflict in a particular situation, but at the same time too, if someone is making a citizen's arrest for a crime that clearly is out of, it's just completely out of line, it just kind of scares me with the aspect of this country to be able to seek justice the way that should be sought, and the fact that they're using police in order to morally or use some sort of immoral standpoint to justify what they do. Does that make sense? So I just kind of feel like people need to look at things in a more smart aspect. It's not to say that we're not supposed to be angry. We're supposed to channel that anger into making sure that we have the best possible outcome, because we're tired of talking about the same redundant situation pertaining to our Black men being mistreated, or our children being mistreated, or civilians in general being mistreated. So I'm just focusing on George's energy, just to see what we can pick up for the time being and what he wants to focus on or possibly reach out and say. This is just kind of more so of a free-for-all for him and what I can interpret with the best of the knowledge that I know. So, the one thing that he is showing me at the moment, okay, I'm just gonna go in towards the past. So basically, this initially talks about the amount of struggle, not only for himself, but I feel like, and I'm assuming he's more so thinking about his mother and the pain that it's caused his mom. I don't know why I feel like I need to say this, or like a female figure that's caused a lot of pain, and it's just kind of like probably even in that moment of going through that struggle and crying out, you know, it's like being in a space of knowing that it would hurt her, you know, more than anything. It's just like this really interesting dynamic, because this Nine of Swords focuses on a woman, okay? A woman who has lost something, who's going through a lot of trauma, PTSD, anxiety. These are things that, you know, that people were fearful of. You understand what I'm saying? He feels like he understands, and he's like, you know, subconsciously, you know, yeah, I have to move forward. I have to say goodbye. He has to go move forward on with his body. And trying to understand that there is a divine plan behind all of this. With the Seven of Pentacles, talks about being in a divine plan. Sometimes I feel like even with his energy pertaining to the circumstances of what is going on, he feels a bit conflicted about it. He understands the standpoint of the people and them being upset. At the same time too, it's being in a position of wanting to have a bit more structure. Does that make sense? Like, there needs to be some aspect of having collective structure within our society. And I know that takes a lot for people, especially when they're hurt, when they're angry, when they're displeased at the circumstances. But it's about actually hitting them where it hurts. It's like there's one aspect to where we're taking something and destroying our own communities versus going towards where these big spenders are at, where law enforcement privileges are at, where mental health evaluation should be for government officials, to where compensation needs to be reformed into our communities in order to protect civilians. You know, and addressing PTSD, addressing all of those aspects for our own mental health and for our own financial benefit because of the mistrust and mistreatment of our system. And we need to take a look at that, okay? He's a very intelligent person, okay? So I just want to say this. He wants people to try to, it's hard to be in a space where people can really celebrate him, you know what I mean? And I mean, I think they're finding their own ways to mourn him, and he appreciates all the love, because the Nine of Cups always talks about how people kind of come together in the community and just really fight for him. So he's showing aspects of really appreciating that. It's just that he wants to be in a position of reforming it. He just keeps saying that in aspects of taking care of his mother. I don't know why I need to say this, but or some female figure that's around him, receiving justice for that and compensation for that. But it's also about seeing how far, you know, this can go, basically, as far as being able to make a difference with his name. You know what I mean? Being able to put in a law, or being able to stand up for minorities that need the help the most. You know what I mean? He's expressing his love, again, expressing a lot of love. And I really feel like it's a mother figure, because, you know, he's trying to make sure she's comfortable. Certain people in the family are comfortable. And he just keeps showing the world card. He keeps focusing on, again, a mother and a child, like just focusing on, you know, she is the world to him. Like, that's just what he keeps saying. But we need to be in this position of actually analyzing how to go about what we're looking at. I'm not saying that we need to just be all kumbaya and forgive what happened. I'm not saying that whatsoever for myself personally. But I do think that things can move a bit more smoothly, if that makes sense. Let me find the death card really quick. I just want to see what he wants to focus on with that. If he feels like there's something up with that, if that makes sense. With what happened to him, it's heavy energy to really take in, you know what I mean? But we need to hold certain people accountable and probably have an FBI investigation in order to target domestic terrorism within the police and the federal agencies, basically. This is an aspect to where it's very prevalent in this country, and we need to change that. Just to be completely honest, I just want to read this really quick. I'm sorry. Let me just read some of the comments. I'm sorry. I've been all over the place. Okay, everybody's saying hi. I've been watching your videos. You're the truth. I will be supporting you. Thank you, baby. I appreciate the support. Speaking of support, you guys can hit me up at queenprodigy369@gmail for personal consultations, or hit me up on IG at queenprodigy0369. All of that information will be either in the comment section or even in the description below. I'm not going to get into that here because this is more serious, but I appreciate the support. Let me see. I know that a lot of people are saying different things about, Trump and different things like that. And yeah, I'm not even going to get into all that and take the attention away from George Floyd right now. I think he has said something about it. I just don't want to take the attention away from him. I just feel like we need to be in a position to where we are focusing on activism and doing activism in the most proper way possible. It's not about destroying our communities. It's about actually going into the pockets where it hurts. And they're not going to learn until we hit it where it hurts, legally and financially. And I think that's the main point of this. And even, I believe T.I. was putting something out there speaking about George, saying that on July 7th, basically as a community, as people, as Americans, we should not put our money into the system in order to let it be known that this is unacceptable for this to happen. After 400 years of slavery, not receiving 40 acres and a mule in reparations, it just kind of blows my mind that we were considered 2/3 of one white person. And like I said, no offense to the white people that support what we have going on and that are really trying to actually make an example for their children about what is appropriate and not appropriate in American culture. I completely commend all of you for that, but it is also important for, people of different, class, different creeds to actually look at look at how racism is truly affecting the way that we think and the way that we act and treat each other. And it's about time, you know what I'm saying? It's about time, and I keep feeling like people need to wake up, basically. Wake up to the reality of what we're living in. So when I'm looking at aspects of his death, the one thing that's interesting, because I have the death card here, even in his final moments, he's talking about going home. I don't know where he's from, per se. I don't know what's going on, but he just keeps talking about going home. I don't know what that's about. Maybe somebody can clarify that for me. I don't know if he's from there or not, but I just keep hearing that he was just in his final moments thinking about going home. Now, here's the interesting thing that I'm going to point out is the judgment card in the situation, okay? And the judgment card in the situation is basically saying that this is an aspect of where his life was cut off before his time, basically, if that makes sense, because the judgment card in the situation means this was his time of judgment was not supposed to come this soon. I don't know why I need to say that, but that's where the position of the card is at. He wants people to know that he did not suffer. Like, I know it was very hard to look at, but it's kind of like somebody passing out, if that makes sense, and then being pulled out of their body. And it's not to excuse what happened, but he keeps wanting to let it be known that, all it's like God didn't keep him in his body to suffer like that for too long. It's like kind of like blacking out of consciousness, if that makes sense, and being pulled out. I do feel that certain people, and he's saying this in the past, I don't know what has happened to him in the past, but he keeps indicating to me that maybe there's aspects to where he was more so on edge because he had incidents with the police probably prior to this situation and not really feeling too comfortable around police, if that makes sense, or feeling like he like I said, he's like, I don't know if I'm paranoid or if I have every right to be paranoid, but I feel like there's aspects of people just doing the most when it comes down to me. That's just, I don't know, that's just what I'm feeling. I'm assuming he's talking about the person that that committed this heinous crime towards him. He's explaining that you stole a lot, basically. They're trying to manipulate things. He keeps showing me aspects of data. So I mean, like situations pertaining to body cams or different things like that. I don't know why, but he's concerned about people saying that he stole something, or they're trying to manipulate something, or they pulled him over for trying to take something or do something of that nature. I don't know what it is. I'm just saying what I'm saying. All I know is that I just feel like certain people are trying to manipulate certain things in order to maintain their freedom. Oh, interesting. So yes, they said he forged a check. Huh, you don't say. Okay. But like I said, which is a lie, interesting. But like I said, even with the aspect of like the body cam, different things like that, I feel like they're messing with that. That information should have been turned over from the time of that situation happening. It's heartbreaking to see, the fact that there's so many people that are enraged, which we have every right to be, that we're not being heard. And I think that if it continues to go further, then we need to take that to the voting poll, to where we're not choosing anybody for that matter. I feel like we need to be in a position to where we are holding the vote at the end of the day, where all citizens should hold the vote if they believe that there's something wrong with this particular situation, or just say that, no one's going to be able to go to those elections, if that makes sense. We need to, be mindful about the way that we protest. We have to be tactful about how it actually affects people. And I'm asking for people in the law, or even, who are lawyers, to take accountability and actually put in, it's time to just put in aspects of due diligence. And it's not only for George, but it's for our community alike, to where people are actually, being compensated for the mistreatment of police, to where police are actually going through the process of going through mental evaluations before going back onto the streets. You see what I'm saying? So it just can't be all on, I'm not saying that this person shouldn't be accountable for what they do, but clearly there is some sort of aspect of PTSD that is affecting situations like this, and is also affecting a police officer that doesn't know when to let this person breathe. Okay? Like, it just, you know what I'm saying? There just has to be some sort of reform. He is doing his best to say that he's going to probably find peace of mind when he gets to that threshold by the time of August. That's when he will strengthen up to be able to stand his ground and move forward. He appreciates the people that are sticking up for him. And he's talking about getting justice, okay? He's talking about getting justice and being able to see a better community for his people and everyone on this planet. But we have, as people, we need to be in the space. And I love the fact that his energy is like so, he's doing his best to remain positive in such a very dark time in this world, because we're going through so many, different situations, pandemics, all types of stuff. And it's a reality check, for some people. But he has a good heart. He has a very rational heart. And he's a very thoughtful person. You know what I mean? It's like him sitting back and taking a look at what happened and just saying, you know what? I can understand where people went wrong, I can understand where certain things went wrong. Okay, so I'm just going to basically use this Oracle deck. If people have questions, feel free to ask questions below. And then after that will be it. So anyway, here's this card. So, man holding a heart. Here's the position in the past, okay? This is talking about feeling heartbroken because of the loss of his life. He is hurt because he is expressing the fact that he couldn't fight back, you know what I mean? And possibly feeling, feeling like he wasn't being taken care of. And it hurts, it really hurts. And I know a lot of people criticize the people that were there, like, oh, why didn't they fight back? Why didn't they, do this and do that? We've gotten to this condition within our society that this is very evident and clear, where people are absolutely terrified of defending themselves or defending themselves against the police. And I think that we as civilians really need to have the right to bear arms or do whatever it is that we need to do in order to protect ourselves. And yes, recording things does, help on some level, but at the same time too, we need to take action. Again, not knowing where to turn, indecision, very difficult. It's a very difficult thing, not knowing where to turn, not knowing what to do. He is acknowledging the fact that he will find the door to personal happiness and healing. So basically this card indicates just being able to, and again, the victory card just kind of solidifies, I will heal from this situation. I will move forward from this situation. I know in the end it will be victorious for myself and for my family and for my community. And I guess maybe for him, he's just focused on the people that he loves. Again, like, I will connect with the people that I love, but this is a time for me to focus on gaining my energy back and taking care of myself, and for people to take care of themselves and to love one another, because we all are human beings. And it doesn't mean that any of us are more or less than the other. Well, we're not going to get into biology right now because I ain't about to get all conscious on people, okay? But the black man is God, and I just feel like they need to put more respect on our gods out here. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, no matter who you with or what's going on, every black man is going to look for a woman that resembles aspects of their mother to defend them, whether if it is their mother or another female that is a black woman who can birth black babies. And every time, no matter if they go over here, over there, whatever it is they do, we come through and we look out for them and we take care of them. So this is, even in life or in death, we're going to continue to take care of ours. And what we need to do as black women is to say, okay, it's time to get into this space of reforming. If this country, which has 60% white people, and I'm not saying all of them are bad, and I'm not saying all of them are good either, and there is 12% of black people in this country, I need you to come to a rational idea of how statistic works and how people put their own thought processes through the majority. I'm asking for white people and for all types of other people to come together and say, this is not right. We need to change this dynamic. We need to change our society. If this country does not abide to those specific standards to make sure that black people who are disenfranchised as it is as a community can feel safe enough to walk down the street, we can work towards rebuilding something to where we can all live amicably, peacefully, with the aspect of receiving reparations for the harm and the post-traumatic stress that you have caused on the community. Beyond that point, if that cannot be solidified, I am asking that, no offense, but if you feel that the resources of this country no longer solidify for you, go where people look like you. And that's all I'm gonna say to my people, is go to where people look like you and where resources and your wealth and your worth exist, because at this moment in time, Africa is the only continent that has those resources. So as much as they hate us, as much as they disregard us, as much as they copy or do anything because they despise the truth of where every origin of life comes from, secure Mother Africa, because Mama gonna take care of you. She is no different than a black woman, honey. And that's all I'm saying. And like I said, there's no offense to anybody that is white in here. I appreciate those that actually support, but I just need to talk to my people really quick about American reality, really quick. And this isn't gonna just stop spreading, by the way. I need to tell you guys this as well. Certain things don't get under control in the law if certain things are not under control within the police force. We have choice. You know, we do have a choice. I know that he's not in the space of wanting things to progress in a violent manner, and we need to be more smart about how we strike at certain things or how we do certain things. And you know, the law needs to basically back off when civilians are actually using their common sense to rightfully protest amicably. Then yeah, we're getting at a point in time to where these lawmakers and law enforcement have this much of window space to make it right. And that's just what it is. So I have to let the free will maintain itself. But if police officers decide that lawmakers and other agents don't have control or command and want to be their own governing body with racism, then it is time to basically have civilian arrests, and also for there to be a thorough investigation about how certain things will occur and happen. There will be people that will be onto some vigilante type stuff and will target those people that have behaviors of condoning this activity over and over again within every aspect of law enforcement. And I can guarantee that. I hope the Thunder effect really supports the theme here. So I ask, this is like the kind of final message that I want people to take with them. Okay. Let me see. I'm just trying to see if there's anything. His brother said he was a gentle giant. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah. So I'm just, is he related to Stephen Jackson, or they just look alike? I think they just look alike, sis. I think they just like eerily look alike, and like I said, and I'm sure that aspect about with Stephen Jackson, it's just kind of like a mirror. He's really concerned. I know a lot of people are like, ask him about this, and I just split the deck. He's just showing me that this man, this Stephen Jackson person, is dealing with a lot of anxiety over this. Like, kind of like, that could have been me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that could have easily have been me, you know? That could have been me. That's the only thing that I keep hearing over and over again, is that could have been me. You know, it's like this aspect of reflection, but there's like, he's showing me there's a lot of love because, you know, he just appreciates the people that are coming out to support him and to love him. And let me just get back to that. Again, to find balance within ourselves and within our own minds, he is asking that people just allow him the space of rest, but also for yourselves to find peace of mind and rest, to be thoughtful in your minds. Use Archangel Metatron within your third eye to balance out your third eye. before making certain decisions. Okay, we all have this. This is about a higher aspect of finding peace within ourselves. Okay, he just keeps saying this over and over again. Money ain't everything. He's putting that in the past, door to value. He's like, we need to be in a space of love. I know this is coming up as like door to romance, but this is just the aspect of him communicating as love. Using aspects of love to move forward with what actions we desire to take for change. And it's okay to be upset, it's okay to be angry, but we have to change the way of how we are choosing to be destructive. Because they want an excuse to treat us like animals. They want an excuse to treat civilians like animals, and he doesn't want to give that to people, okay? How I know we talking about him? Because he done came up in the reading. Here he go right here, okay? Again, focus on Archangel Ariel, second chakra, finding aspects of focusing on the things that, you know, make him happy, focusing on the wonderful things about him. And he's gone. He's like, I'm walking away. He's just trying to find his own inner peace. He's done. Walking away. That's it. When I see walking away, that means that the conversation is officially done and over with. So I hope that this message, this reading is helpful for certain people. I hope that it is beneficial for people to actually think about what's going on and how to reform our community. So please protect yourselves, pray for yourselves, pray for George, pray for your families, look out for your families, and actually do your activist part, because we're living in a time where we have to be our own politicians, our own governors, and our own protectors. So I'm asking all American civilians to do what you have to do in order to protect yourselves, but to also speak up when something is wrong and to say that this is not right and that there needs to be a reform within our communities in order for our children to grow up in a safer and more happier environment. So thank you guys so much. How does he feel about the riots? We need to rethink, as I said before, Angie, like just rethink about the structure of how we protest. And I think that's kind of how he feels. How can we reform that? So hopefully that answers your question. Wonderful. Have a wonderful night. Take care.